Death is one of the most enduring mysteries of existence. Across centuries and continents, humanity has sought to understand, personify, and ritualize the moment when life ceases. From shamanistic rites to religious doctrines, we've devised countless ways to grapple with the unknown. But perhaps one of the most powerful and lasting manifestations of this effort is the figure known as the Reaper. Typically envisioned as a skeletal entity shrouded in a dark cloak, clutching a scythe with cold, bony fingers, the Reaper has etched itself into the collective imagination of Western civilization. But this being is not exclusive to one region or belief system. Around the world, cultures have created their own symbols of death. Some fearsome, others revered, and many misunderstood. These figures don't merely represent the end of life. They signify a passage, a transformation, an essential link in the eternal cycle of existence. In this video, we will journey through 5 different cultures and uncover how each perceives the harbinger of death. We will meet grim figures who sow fear and gentle guides who offer protection. And by the end, you may see that the Reaper isn't evil. He's simply doing his job. The image of the Grim Reaper that most of us recognize today emerged in the 14th century amidst the horror and despair of the Black Death. This plague decimated Europe, wiping out more than 1/3 of its population. In the wake of such widespread mortality, people needed a visual representation of death that was as inescapable and terrifying as the disease itself. Enter the Grim Reaper. He is almost always portrayed as a tall, skeletal figure, dressed in a long black cloak, his face obscured by a deep hood. He carries a scythe, a farming tool used to reap grain, but in his bony hands it reaps souls. The Grim Reaper was never just a monster. He was a messenger, a servant of fate. His duty was to separate the soul from the body and deliver it to the afterlife. He did not discriminate. Kings and paupers alike eventually felt the sweep of his blade. But there's an elegance to the Grim Reaper's symbolism. The use of a scythe reflects the cyclical nature of life. Just as crops are harvested and regrown, so too do lives end and begin anew. And while his image can be terrifying, many depictions also suggest a kind of mercy. After all, he ends suffering. He offers peace. He is inevitable, but not necessarily malevolent. As centuries passed, the Grim Reaper evolved. In literature and film, he was sometimes given personality. Wry, tired, even compassionate. The 1957 film The Seventh Seal portrayed him as a quiet, thoughtful figure, playing chess with a man trying to outwit death. And in modern pop culture, he's often a figure of dark humor and irony, a necessary balance to our fear of the unknown. In the misty lands of Brittany, in northwestern France, folklore gave rise to a figure known as Ankou. Unlike the global fame of the Grim Reaper, Ankou is more of a local legend, but no less powerful. His origins are deeply embedded in Celtic traditions, where spirits and otherworldly beings were not just feared, but respected as a natural part of life. Ankou is typically depicted as a tall, thin man dressed in a dark cloak and wide-brimmed hat. He drives a creaky old cart pulled by skeletal horses, collecting the souls of the recently deceased. Sometimes he is seen walking with a scythe, eerily reminiscent of the Grim Reaper. But there's a key difference. Ankou isn't a supernatural entity. He is human. According to legend, the Ankou is the spirit of the last person to die in a parish each year. That soul is then tasked with serving as the collector of souls for the next year, until they are replaced by another. This idea that death itself is a rotating responsibility among the dead creates a sense of community even in the afterlife. Death, in this narrative, is not a cosmic force, it's a role, a duty. In many stories, Anku is not feared so much as he is pitied. He doesn't delight in his task. It is a burden. He is a solemn reminder of mortality, but also of continuity. People left offerings or said prayers for Anku, not to ward him off, but to honor the job he had to do. In some regions it was believed that if you heard the creaking of his cart late at night, someone nearby was about to die. While the Grim Reaper may represent fate, Anku reflects responsibility. He is one of us, just on the other side of the veil. Nowhere is death celebrated as intimately and vibrantly as in Mexico, and at the center of this cultural embrace of mortality is Santa Muerte, Saint Death. Santa Muerte is not part of mainstream Catholicism. In fact, the Church denounces her veneration, yet millions of devotees across Mexico and the southwestern United States turn to her for protection, guidance, and miracles. Her image is striking, a female skeletal figure clad in elaborate robes, often holding a globe, a set of scales, or a scythe. Her altars are adorned with candles, flowers, cigarettes, candy, and liquor. She is both feared and loved. Where the Grim Reaper is a taker of souls, Santa Muerte is a motherly protector who accepts everyone, rich or poor, sinner or saint. She is especially beloved among marginalized communities, the poor, sex workers, and even cartel members. In her, they find an unjudging figure who offers comfort and care in a world that often denies them both. Devotees pray to Santa Muerte for love, health, financial stability, justice, and even revenge. She is complex, a figure of death who gives life through hope and protection. Her popularity has surged in recent decades, turning her into a powerful symbol of spiritual resistance and resilience. Unlike other personifications of death, Santa Muerte is not hidden or cloaked in secrecy. Her statues stand proudly in homes and shrines. Her festivals are colorful and public. In her cult, death is not the end, but part of a divine cycle, and she, the skeletal saint, is a guardian of that cycle. In the vast pantheon of Hindu gods, Yama holds a unique position. He is the god of death, the ruler of the underworld, and the first mortal who died, thus becoming the king of the departed. Yama is often depicted riding a black buffalo, wielding a mace or a noose to capture the souls of the dead. He resides in Naraka, the Hindu underworld, where he judges souls based on their karma. The righteous are rewarded with reincarnation into better lives, while the wicked are punished according to their sins. But Yama is not evil. He is a cosmic administrator, ensuring that the moral balance of the universe is maintained. In Hindu philosophy, death is not a final destination but a transition, a step in the eternal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth known as samsara. Yama is aided by his loyal record keeper, Chitragupta, who maintains a meticulous account of every soul's deeds. When a person dies, their soul is escorted to Yama, where their actions in life are evaluated. This judgment determines their next incarnation, which could be in human form, animal, or something entirely different. In this worldview, death is a consequence, not a punishment. Yama simply ensures that justice is served. His presence in the mythological tapestry of Hinduism reinforces the belief in accountability and cosmic order. Festivals like Pitru Paksha are dedicated to honoring ancestors and pleasing Yama. During this time, Hindus perform rituals and offer food to departed souls, hoping to ease their journey and secure blessings. Death here is integrally tied to life, and Yama, while stern, is a necessary part of that process. In Japan, death is not ruled by a singular, omnipotent being, but by a class of spirits known as shinigami, death gods or death spirits. Unlike the Western Grim Reaper, shinigami are more subtle, often invisible and rarely malevolent. The concept of shinigami was heavily influenced by Buddhist teachings and later Western interpretations of death. They don't always kill, nor do they take pleasure in death. Instead, they act more like spiritual guides, gently ushering souls from the world of the living to the afterlife. Shinigami are sometimes portrayed as lonely or tragic figures, tasked with maintaining the natural balance of life and death. In some stories, they appear before someone about to die, giving them time to reflect or even bargain. In others, they simply watch from the shadows, ensuring the soul's departure happens smoothly. Modern Japanese culture has embraced and evolved the image of the shinigami. Manga and anime often depict them as stylish, complex beings, like the famous Rook in Death Note, who is mischievous and philosophical. These representations blur the line between morality and duty, asking us to consider what it truly means to be the bringer of death. In traditional Japanese thought, death is not feared so much as it is respected. Ancestors are honored through festivals like Obon, where it is believed that the spirits of the dead return to visit their families. Shinigami, in this context, are simply caretakers of that journey. From the cloaked Grim Reaper to the compassionate Santa Muerte, from the dutiful Anku to the karmic judge Yama, and the ethereal Shinigami, the personification of death is as diverse as the cultures that created them. Each figure reflects a different perspective on what it means to die, and more importantly, what it means to live. These reapers are not evil. They are necessary. They serve as reminders that death is not the end, but a part of a much larger story. Whether feared or revered, they all have the same job: to guide us from one existence to the next. Death is the great equalizer, but not the great enemy. Through the stories we tell and the figures we create, we give shape to the unknowable. In doing so, we find comfort, understanding, and even beauty in the end. So the next time you think of the Reaper, don't see a villain, see a guide, a guardian, a reminder that life, in all its fleeting wonder, is worth living deeply and fully, because it, too, must pass.